Hello, hello, hello. How's everyone doing out there in Cyberland? Woo, woo, woo. Y'all, I am so excited about tonight's episode. We're going to be chatting about the vows that we never talk about. Yes, y'all, it is live and unfiltered. I am your host, Sybil Jones, and we're going to peel back all the layers of marriage. Now, before we get into all that, I want to give a huge shout out and round of applause for our sponsor, USAA. Give it up for USAA. So for everyone in the comments, give some thumbs up and some hearts for USAA for supporting MilSpouse Conversations this year as we bring you the tea and our events that we call the conversations. Now, check out USAA's Military Spouse Resource Hub, where you can find all of their fabulous resources that will help you navigate this life. All right, you can check it out at www.usaa.com/military spouse. All right, and tonight we have some fabulous conversation starters joining me for this talk. Are you ladies ready? I'm looking at them back here. Who's going to look at me first? Y'all looking at me? I see you. All right, I see Miss Julie. Hey, Julie. How you doing? She's muted. And we have Miss Nye. How you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
Girl, I'm fabulous.
You're fabulous.
I'm ready to talk about, meeting my husband at the altar in my white dress. Okay, well, you know what? We'll be right back. We'll be right back to dig deep, all right? So don't hold back. This is live, so we want you to engage with us in those comments, all right? Don't be scared. Don't be scared. Make sure you engage with us in the comments. Like, comment, follow, subscribe. We'll be right back, and we'll be ready to get this conversation started. Y'all ready? Why y'all looking at me like this?
I don't know what you're going to do next.
It's always a mystery. Okay. All right. Ladies, we all have been married 20 plus years, right?
Yeah. It'll be 22 this year.
22 this year. Mm-hmm. Hey, Shanita. How long have you been married, Nashita? Nashita. Oh, Lord, I'm going to be all confused.
22 years, I guess. We've been living together for 24.
So, Nashita, see, that was going to be a question I was going to ask on down the line, but let's just go ahead and address this right now. So, did you test drive the vehicle before you bought it?
I don't know. We was just together, and then we were together. We were never not together again.
well, no.
Test drive, of course. I'm not just taking the car home without a test drive, or 2 or 3 or 10.
See, that was going to be a question for the end of the show. Now we'll be giggling the entire show. So, ladies, how did you meet your husband?
Through a friend. Through some friends, more than one friend, actually.
Julie, what are you doing to your camera?
What are you doing? driving me crazy. But yeah, it was through some friends.
Through some friends. How did you meet your honey, Nishita?
So one day I was driving to my barracks and he was standing outside the barracks, and then he kind of just looked at me and I looked at him, and then he wouldn't leave me
He
alone.
looked at me. Isn't that a song? He looked at me.
Huh?
Looked at me.
Yeah, he saw me. He was looking at me and I was looking at him. And then after that, he just would never leave me alone. And then we started going out. And then he was like, one day he called me and said, "Hey, do you want to go?" No, I called him outside because I was like, no. I called him outside. He just would come to my barracks and wash his car. Like, where you even come from, bro? And then he was there and he was like, "Hey, would you like to go to Chili's?" And I was like, I am feeling hungry. And we went to Chili's, and then that was it. We just been together.
The rest is history. So, but Chili's was on the no date list. So,
Well,
Yeah,
I
who?
don't care. This was, look, it was 2000, okay?
People need to grow up.
It was 1999, you know? I was partying like it was
People
1999.
grow up.
I know.
but look, there's nothing wrong with going for a date to Chili's, in my opinion.
You go where you want to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People need to know their geographic location too, like who they are as a person.
Yes.
Like
So
if you were
I
going
went-
to Chili's by yourself all this time, what makes you think some guy's gonna come take you to like some restaurant you've never seen or heard of before in your life because you can't even afford to eat it yourself.
Exactly.
You never even seen it. You don't even know how to dress for it.
Very true. So I met my husband in school as well, Grace. So Grace is on here. Hey, Grace is one of our conversation starters. How you doing, lady?
I think she met her husband in high school.
Yeah. Well, Nishita, hold on. Let me get to it. I know they actually met in middle school.
Middle school.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
If I had met my husband in middle school, he would have been in trouble.
It would not have
in person.
I wouldn't have been with my husband if we met in middle school because my kids are so funny because they, they've looked at the pictures and just kind of our crowds, our friends that we hung out with in middle school and high school. We didn't live in the same town, not even in the same state, but they were like, huh. I was like, yeah, our paths would have never crossed in middle school. They just would not have crossed at all in middle school. My children tell me that I was a cheerleader. They told me I was a mean girl in middle school. I was not. But anywho, I met my husband in college. He was my RA.
Scandalous.
But y'all want to know what hooked him? The day because I want to know the day you and your husband fell in love. But I'm going to tell y'all how I got my husband. Because, they say, however you get your husband, you got to continue those same actions to keep them. Y'all want to know how I hooked my hubby? Y'all want to know?
I don't know.
Dropping the kids off at the pool. Oh, your toilet and okay. My husband's going to get me. So I went over to visit him and he wouldn't let me in. He would not let me in his apartment. I'm like, no. He's like, don't come over here. Don't come over. I'm like, no, I'm coming over. I thought he had another girl in his apartment. So his roommate let me in. He was in the bathroom. He had clogged up the toilet.
Oops.
I was like, I got you. Got a plunger. I was like, he said he knew he loved me that moment. He's like, any woman that can unclog a toilet and not bat an eye nor hold her nose, that's the love of my life.
It's a pretty important skill.
And still to this day, I'm like, hey, what you doing in there? You want me to come in there and talk to you? I'll sit on the edge of the toilet or the edge of the bathtub. How was your day? Am I the only one? Okay.
No,
Y'all
I'm
didn't
even in the
think
bathroom. I don't care.
that's about as dirty as we get. Why are you looking at me like that?
I don't know. Trying to figure out the reference.
Yeah.
I don't know the first moment. I'm just telling you, we were together and then we were never not together again. That was it.
Well,
I don't know.
For me, when I walked in the room and I saw him, I was like, "Ooh, that's my future husband." What am I gonna go say to him? And then I heard him. He was talking to someone about his time in the army, and I was like, "Oh, I'll just dive into that conversation." And then we started talking, and we talked the whole night, and then we talked like that whole week, and then I ended up going to my parents' house like that next week. And I remember like I asked him for his email so I could still keep talking to him.
Can I get your email? There was no Snapchat or Instagram back then.
No social. That was as social as you got. The email. And then I remember like, because you didn't check your email on your phone. So it was like, but like I had to fly home. And then when I got to my parents' house, I got on their computer because I didn't even like have the computer with me. So I had to get on their computer and I checked my email and he had emailed me.
And you were like, oh.
And then I asked him,
go ahead.
Oh, and then I asked him my college was having like it was called a black and white ball. And so I asked him to that. And we went to that. And that was kind of a double date with my really good friend and then one of our other friends. And that it was after that date, it was like, that's it.
That was it. So how long did y'all wait to have children after you were married?
Like a little over 2 years.
Yeah.
When he was born.
Yeah, we waited about 2 years as well.
We're on the same schedule still.
We are. We are. So do you think your marriage changed, or do you think your relationship with your husband changed from when you were dating to when you were married, and then from being married to having children?
Yeah.
What were some of the most difficult transitions with that, especially going from no children to having children?
Well, we weren't as carefree when we had after we had a child. Take care of the child. Couldn't just be like, oh, it's Saturday. What do you want to do? Absolutely nothing.
Right.
And it changed too because when I had my first child, then I was a stay-at-home mom, so I worked up until I was in college when we first met, but then after college, I got my first job like a couple months after college. So then it was like I was at home all of a sudden.
No difference from dating to married, but big difference from dating married to kids. Yeah, I think kids change the dynamic of a marriage. I know for me they did. Very carefree before children. And I didn't want kids. I actually didn't never want to be married either. Like I went to college. I was not. And now you have, I don't know if you have heard the young girls talk about they go to school to get an MRS.
Oh yeah, bring your money back.
Yeah, tell my kids that that's not what you're going to school for. But when I went to college, I was like, I was not looking for no relationship. Especially, I was like, I don't want to marry a guy that's in a fraternity. I didn't want to date a guy that was in a fraternity, nor from the South, nor anyone who would be joining the military. And I got all three. He swept me off my feet. But I remember telling him, he was like, do you want to have children? And I was like, no. Then I came back and said, yeah. He proposed. And then he started talking about wanting to have kids.
Were
And I
you
was
like,
like,
with you, baby? I'll have them with you.
well, I eventually did. I was like, well, yeah. I actually said, yeah, I'll have you a baby.
I'll have all your babies.
Like, I'll have you a baby and 3 babies later. And I wouldn't change it for the world. I would not change it for the world. But I know once we started having children, I'm trying to say this so I don't sound like a total jerk. Let me go to a commercial break because I want to word this so I'm not sounding too bad. Hold on. All right, and we're back. So once we started having kids, I did not like having to share my time with my kids for my husband. I did not like that. I wanted him to myself. I was a little selfish.
I didn't like sharing him with the military. That was my beef. Kids, I don't remember. I don't know. I don't remember feeling like that, really. I mean, these days it's like, okay, we need to go out, just you and I. Like, these kids can fend for themselves. But I don't know. I think I was just in that season of life, and I just.
Yeah, like we had date nights. We dated because one of the things that I remember when we first got married was our premarital counseling. The pastor who married us, he was like, whatever you do, whatever you guys did that made you fall in love, you have to continue that throughout your marriage. He was like, and date your wife, date your husband. Even if you have no money, go to McDonald's and get a cheeseburger Happy Meal and split it. And we still date one another, but I think when they were babies, right? He would come home. This was my problem. He would come home and he would pick the baby up first. And I'm like, dude, what you doing? What about me? Where's my kiss? Where's my greeting? And it sounds silly, but that caused arguments. That caused arguments for us. I got over it fairly quickly, but I think and I'm an only child, right? So going from always being the center of attention with my mom, then getting married, the center of attention, and then here comes this 3 babies. And it was always when they were infants. And thinking about it now, I'm like, dang, Sybil, you were a jerk.
Maybe it just took you some time to get used to it.
It took me a little time.
Well, I was more focused on, I think, so there was a difference between when we got married. I think I just became more focused on like, what are you doing around here? Like, are you doing chores? I just became more home oriented, I think, is where I wasn't paying attention before. And like probably fussing more about things, maybe like pick your stuff up, or I got more like that. And he got more like, I'm going out with my friends. Like we went through this weird, like stereotypical marriage stage. And then because I also like a lot of attention, well, not now, but when I was younger, childhood issues and stuff. I was like, pay me attention. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's like pulling away, like, stop, you're smothering me, get off me, you're too close, And then after the baby came, I just directed all of my attention toward the baby. So it was like, what are you doing? Like, am I chopped liver over here? Like, kind of, yeah. The chop in the grinder. Come visit you later. But it was all because it's a baby. You have to take care of the baby. It's gonna die. Like, you have to feed it and take care of it and bathe it, and like it's over there just being dumb. It looks like a little bobblehead. And you're like, oh my god, trying to hold its head up. And it's over there like this thing.
I know. And the baby just be like,
yes. You're like, what is this thing doing? They never were like this when my cousins had them, because I only had them after they were a few months old, and then I'd be like, oh, look at this baby. I didn't know they came out all wiggly and weird. Like, oh my god, what are you doing?
You said wiggly and weird.
And it was just, they're like little aliens, but they're so cute, but also ugly and also adorable. And you're like, oh, did you just poop? Oh god. And then you're like, oh my god. And I didn't have anybody around. It was just me. I was the only woman in the house around me. I was always like, and he wasn't changing diapers. He'd wake me up at night, like, you're the bottle. I can't feed him. You're the bottle. So I put a bed in the baby's room. I'd be over there with the baby in the bed, like, it's like, what are you doing? Just fussing back and forth. And then he's just gone a lot. Then after that, he was just always on the ship or something. So, and then when he was at home, we were like, I was like working evenings and he was working days, and we were just like two ships constantly passing each other and squabble a little bit and then and then squabble a little bit and then hunch a little bit and then squabble a little bit and then sometimes don't hunch and then sometimes get mad and then happy and then don't want to see each other, but then like it was so weird. And then we moved overseas and I don't know, it was weird. Our relationship was just like, it has a mind of its own. It's its own entity. It exists.
Well, and I think too, like I know for me, just growing up, whenever you would hear people talk about marriage, it was always full of bliss and wonder, or it was just horrible, right? And no one really talks to you about that you have to work on your marriage. Like, you're married, that is a relationship. You live together,
build it,
but you still have to work on your marriage.
You have to build it.
I'm a firm believer that in order for my marriage to be successful and for me to be happy in my marriage and for my husband to be happy in our marriage, that I have to love myself and I have to be happy within myself. What do y'all think about that? And if you get mad, if you have an argument, because we argue, like I'm usually honest, to be honest, I'm usually fussing. And Marcus is just, oh, I said my husband's name. It's okay. And, and he's just looking at me like, oh, okay. I'm like, no, come on, jail back. Come on. He's like, okay, Sybil, just, are you hungry? I think you need something to eat. I'll get mad over my pen. Where's my pen? You had my pen. He's like, Sybil, really? But anywho, back to what I was saying. Do you think that in a marriage that you have to be happy within yourself in order to be happy and love? Because this is for our spouses who are engaged or newlyweds. Because I also think that these days a lot of marriages end because people don't want to work on the relationship. They treat it like, oh, we're dating. And when it gets a little hard, they're ready to give up.
Some men are there's some buttholes, and they don't care about people's feelings, and they think that their wife is their male friend, so they could just, treat them weird.
Or their mother.
Or their mother. And I think a lot of relationships end because a lot of women have more options now. Whereas before, our grandmothers and sometimes mothers, economically, they were tied to the men. Whereas now women are out earning degrees, when it comes to
Although,
men.
what's really interesting is all of my great grandparents were divorced. My
Right.
grandparents weren't.
The great, yeah,
My
because
all of my great grandparents were divorced.
because it was also economically different. I feel like whenever women have economic choices, the divorce rate is always higher because sometimes men don't want to change. They don't want to work on themselves. They're not going to pick those underwear up off the floor. And if you're either going to stay and pick them up or you're going to leave. And if you don't have any money and you don't have any resources or support, you're going to stay. Right. You're going to stay. Or if you have kids and you don't want to break up the home, you're going to stay, even if they're verbally, emotionally, financially, physically abusive. Most women will choose to stay. They don't have anywhere else to go. Or if the man is threatening. I just think there are a lot of more factors too. It gets a little hard. I think that's minimizing some people's experiences, to say it just got a little hard. So they left. Marriages are hard in general, I think, from the beginning, to me. That's just my opinion. And I think
somebody else.
Also religion sometimes I think plays a role. If you're very religious or you believe that you do not believe in divorce or you do not believe or you believe in classic gender roles, you might be really unhappy in that marriage and be in it for 50 years. You know what I mean? It's just
the vow, when you say your vows, there's till death do you part.
Right. They should get rid of that because that's dumb. Like I have to die to get away from you and you're literally killing me. I don't understand. Like that's a ridiculous vow. I would never. Half the vows you even say you don't live up to them anyways. Most men leave women when they're sick or cheat on them.
In sickness and in health.
But most women stay with men when they're sick and take care of them and wipe their butts and do all kinds of stuff that slowly kills you. Like you're just this caretaker for your whole life.
For richer or for poor.
I've been married a long time, been through ups and downs. We've had to start dating each other again at one time. We've had to endure things, but it was never like the things some people go through. And some people have great marriages, like they don't go through anything. They're very compatible. They have a great time together the whole time. But that's not everybody's experience.
Well, you know what? I wouldn't say that the marriage is great all the time, because if you're living with anyone day in and day out, whether they're in your home or not, you're going to have some sort of disagreement, if we were somewhere for a week, if we went on a vacation for a week, conversation starters went away for a week. Oh, I was reading this comment. There's going to be something that someone in our group's not going to like from the other person.
A week? That's a short period of time.
Yeah,
I'm pretty easy going. Okay.
No, let's think about it. Let's think about this, right? Let's say you go on a trip and it's like, okay, oh, you're always late.
Sybil, you said we were going to dinner at 5:30. Where are you?
See, I wouldn't even care. I'd just be there at 5:30, and when they show up, they show up. I'd be like, oh, hey, girl, we there. I don't care about stuff like that.
For some people, that would be annoying. And after a while, after you're like, doggone it, come on, get it together.
Yeah, now, and the annoying part to me is listening to the other person complain about it, because I'm really just trying to have my appetizer. I don't care if the other person showed up or not. I'm trying to have a good time, and they're over there fussing about it. It's like, calm down, we're on vacation. Like, we're literally trying to get away from time constraints. We're on vacation, like trying to relax. Please relax. That's why I always relax. Please relax. I'm relaxing. I hope everybody.
But you said about the dating, I am a firm believer that you should date your spouse even after marriage. Like you need to date them.
I agree and disagree because it's just not always time for it, especially when you have a lot of kids.
We honestly did not go on like traditional dates unless like family was visiting. Really, for the longest time, because we didn't have any money for a babysitter. We had special needs kids, so that made it more complicated. But what we did sometimes would be like put the kids to bed, make like a special dinner or order a special dinner, and then watch like a movie at home. So and we tried to take, I mean, we did try to take advantage because like they would have like Super Saturdays, drop your kids off for the day.
Yeah, we did that.
Like we definitely took like tried to find those, take advantage of those times, and we did go on a couple trips, but like versus now our kids are old enough we can just be like, it's Saturday, we're going out. Like, oh, you can come, it's a date. Like,
but a date doesn't, you don't have to leave your house to date your spouse.
It's
we have dates. Our dates are literally, okay, let's go to bed at 9:00 and we're going to watch XYZ movie. And we're in the bed watching that movie with some popcorn. I usually fall asleep, but but I would fall asleep even in a movie theater. So that doesn't matter. Now, hold on. I have my questions here. Now, what would be your one piece of advice for a young newlywed wife?
Don't take advice from people because I don't know you. I'm not kidding.
So my piece of advice would be check how they treat older people, how they treat children, and how they treat their mother. And watch. Note it. Pay attention. Because that says a lot about someone's character. Because I know when I met my husband and he showed me his little baby niece, like pictures of his little baby niece, and then he talked about his granny, and I was like, okay, this guy's good.
He's a keeper.
As opposed to other people that I had known in my life, in my past, that were different than that. So.
But then what about all those people who just wear a mask and then you think they're great and they're doing all the great stuff and you get underneath that contract with them and all of a sudden.
Well, that's why you really gotta watch.
You gotta really
watch them when they don't know you're watching them.
Yes.
Like, just pay attention because the signs are there, I think. Most of the time. The signs are there. Whether you want to believe them or not, that's a different story. It's hard to believe them sometimes. It's really hard. When you really like someone, it's really hard to. You might see red flags, but you're like, oh, he would never treat me that way.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's true. It's true.
He's going on the server for like no reason, and you're like, oh, but he would never yell at me.
Oh yeah, anybody who does that, I pull myself away from them because what are you doing right now? Are you acting like this? Is this normal?
What are you doing?
I'd say just track.
I think I kept them mostly. I mostly didn't get other people involved in our marriage. Like whatever was going on, it was going on. Sometimes I had one person I might vent to here and there, but not really, because it's just hard to. Sometimes people are giving you a lot of advice, even when unsolicited advice. Like sometimes you just meet people and they're talking to you about it, and you're like, and you might try and it doesn't work for you because everyone's an individual. You all have your individual marriages, you know, like.
But that's a very good point, Nishita, what you said about keeping other people out of your marriage, because I think, and I've said this to my husband numerous of times. I think one of the best things that we have going in our marriage is that we are not around our love you family, love you mama, but we're not around our family and friends our friends that we grew up with or went to college with. We still talk to them, and when we go home, we visit with them, but there's no one that's in our business. No one really knows us. And if there is a disagreement, we talk about it amongst one another. We don't go out. We're not posting it on social media because look, in my opinion, that's the worst thing to do. And even if it's not a serious argument, if you're like, oh, I'm mad at my husband today. I can't believe he did X, Y, and Z. Well, now you have everybody and their mama in your business.
And then it gets awkward because it's like, you're like, wait, didn't you post that they like did something really weird, and then now you're all happy again? Like, I don't know how I'm supposed to act. Like,
Right.
Yeah. That's why even if like, okay. Even if I see posts like that, I don't usually get involved because sometimes the person is just venting, and now a lot of people are like a little isolated in their personal lives, so they go to social media to vent or to express how they feel. They don't necessarily want everyone to get involved, but because of the way we are going to start, getting in those comments, and then you'll see them try to walk it back and stuff. But in that moment, they were really just trying to find some sort of probably validation for how they felt or something like that. And just not realizing the amount of scrutiny they were also going to get. But social media has saved a lot of lives, though, for people who were in abusive relationships and didn't really quite know that people came to their comments to say, you're in an abusive relationship or you're in danger. And then that person actually was able to get away before they were harmed, or found out that I tried to leave and he said he was going to hurt me or himself. You are in a weird relationship, and now you didn't know because you were in it, in the thick of it, So I think it's both it's like a double-edged sword, I feel like, social media.
It is. But I see a lot of people bringing their marriage issues to social media, and these are people that I don't know, but you just kind of keep watching because you're concerned, right? And so you're scrolling, and then they're like, oh, well, no, we're back together and we're happy, and then there's this whole drama that unfolds online that really didn't need to be there.
Yeah, but it's not my drama, so I don't care. Like, I don't even care. I'm like, well, I scroll on to the next thing. It's their drama. You don't even have to care.
It's their drama, yes. But I think about that as far as people that I know as well. I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Let's think about what you're saying here. Because now, if you're talking about you and your husband, even your boyfriend, whomever, you're mad at him. Now I see y'all. I'm mad at him too, especially if you're my friend. I'm looking like, because you're my friend.
Who cares? You're not them. You're literally not them. Like, the person didn't do anything to you. Why would you be mad at them?
Because you hurt my friend. But then come to find out you really didn't hurt my friend.
Right. Your friend's having her own life experience. Why would you bring yourself into it? Like, that's weird.
That's my friend.
Right. But it's still kind of, to me, I don't feel like that about my friend. My friends are having their own experience, and I'm here to support you and listen to you. But I'm not going to live your life for you. You know what I mean?
But you wouldn't feel some kind of way. You wouldn't feel some kind of, Julie, let me ask you this. No, like no, in all seriousness, if a friend came to you and they're upset about we're going to keep this with husband and wife. They're upset at something that their husband did. I'm not saying you have to pick sides, but in the back of your mind,
I'm most likely I would pick my friend's side. I mean, depending on what it was and what they said, I would feel like in their corner.
yeah,
I don't know what she did. I'm not. I like to be like neutral. I don't like to be like, oh, because you don't know what she did when you weren't there. And then she gonna tell you most of the time, it just comes out later. Oh, I did such and such first, and that's why it's like this. You're like, man, I was rooting for you. You know what I'm saying? And you're out here all in somebody else's business.
But if you bring me your business,
I'm gonna be here.
But hold on, let's go back to this whole marriage thing. Now, actually, we're going to continue this conversation because I do want to talk about. I know we were like unfiltered chat, but there's some things I really want to dig into, but I don't want to do it on a live. So we're going to do it as a virtual event. We'll do it in our private tea room and we'll dig deeper into that other side, because I don't know how comfortable everyone is in talking about things.
Talk about anything. I don't care.
And I don't want to put anyone or myself on the spot. Wait a minute, Nishita, what's that in your hand?
Oh, it's my new mug.
You got the
Yes.
I haven't gotten mine yet. What does it say? Show everybody what it said real quick.
It says, I don't know if you can see it. Yeah.
It says
Vows conversations. And then it says real and relatable conversations about life. Has the website here. And then on the other side, it says the tea. And then the bottom just says hashtag let's spill it with Mill Spouse Conversations.
The tea with Mill Spouse Conversations. And you can find that mug on our website, millspouseconversations.com. Go buy it. All right, we're going to take another quick break, and then me and Nishita are going to be back with some street tea. Yeah, we're going to talk about it, Nishita. Don't look at me like that. We'll be right back.
They do need to they have refrigerators.
Okay, all right.
It makes the tubs not fit, the tub lids not fit on them. It's the thing. So this year I found.
Add it up. Okay, all right.
And we are back with street tea with the nine. You like what I did?
Oh, yeah, it's cute.
Oh, girl, did you say, oh, yeah, that's cute?
Mm-hmm.
Is that that's all you can say? You better be like, girl, you did a good job.
You did an awesome job. I love it.
Thank you. So what are we talking about today?
Okay, today I think I want to talk about two things. One is this phishing email. So it's not even an email. It popped up in my business messenger. And there are variations of it. One of them says trademark violation. One of them says copyright. So as you can see, there's a link in there and they're asking you to click the link. You violated some copyright, trademark, whatever. You need to click on it ASAP. There's the urgency there to click on it. This is fake. Do not click on any links in here. Delete it, report it as spam. I took screenshots of mine because they're just trying to get your business details or your personal information, as all phishing emails do. But in today's day and age, it's so, like everybody's putting strikes out against each other. Oh, you use my content or whatever. So some people are taking advantage of that. And I'm putting the wrong way. Some people are taking advantage of that and using this email format. It'll just say like, it's urgent. You need to click on it, copyright infringement. And look, you can see up under, I don't think you can see it, but right up under the person's profile is like another language. It's a whole other language under there. The person calls you dear, comma, you're in violation of this and that. Do not even waste your time thinking about that. That is a scam. And some people have clicked on those emails and the links, and they've gotten their business information stolen, got locked out of their accounts, and have gotten just their whole business is wrapped up, and sometimes their personal lives wrapped up in these scandals. So just be careful out there. Don't click on links in emails. Banks will not send you emails asking for personal information, and neither will Facebook or Instagram. What happens is it shows up in your feed. They'll send you like a notification. It's not a messenger message. So just ignore that. I just wanted to talk.
Some do come in Messenger.
Not that. And it never says like dear on it. And it never says at the bottom. And they don't ask you to click on the link in the email. There's protocols there. Though you'll go to the website, you'll put in your, you have to go through the process of rebuttal or whatever and saying, yeah, I didn't do this and this is why. It's a whole process. It's not getting a messenger message, because that's not an email, it's a messenger message.
Yeah.
Like what I was saying about the banks is like, no, the bank is not going to send you an email to click on a link ever.
No,
they send you letters and they call your phone. And if
but you got to be careful with the phone calls too, though, because some of the phone calls,
girl, I get them all the time. Somebody tried to like take over my computer, like your router isn't working. I'm like, I'm literally using it right now to talk to you, my internet. Like this is, I played along with it though. I was like, oh no. I pretend like I turned the modem off and everything. And then I was like, oh, he's like, are you on a PC? I was like, yeah. And I was like, I don't know. I can't find the button. I was just wasting his time. And he said, and then I ran out of time. I had to go. And I was like, oh, I have a Mac. And he was like, you have a PC? And I was like, no, it's a Mac. And he was like, click. Because those are it's very hard to manipulate those Macs like you do a PC. So he just hung up. I've had people call me and try to get me to say, yeah, yes, try to, all kinds of stuff.
Oh, yeah. The whole yes.
So, okay, the last one I got phone call was somebody said, hey, I have this, you're a joint owner on an account that's overdrawn. I was like, why are you calling me? Call the other owner. I'm just the secondary person. They're like, yes, but as a secondary person, you're responsible for the account. And so we're going to need you to take care of that today. It's overdrawn by $500. I was like, how did it be that much? And she was like, I don't know. Something happened. Fees, blah, blah, blah. I was like, call the other person. And she was like, no, we have to call you. And I told her, I said, oh, I'll call the other person for you. She said, oh, you're going to call them on the three-way? I was like, no. I'll call you back. She was like, no. You back? I was like, yeah, sure. Like, girl.
No, I would have been like, sure, I'll call them on three-way. Hold on.
No, you have to handle it now. I was like, you've been waiting all this long. You'll be okay. I was like, you could call back, but I'm about to block you.
I would have been like, yeah, sure, I'll call them on three-way. Hold on.
Click. Or the post office one where they send you the text and it says, you have a package, or it's some weird text, and when you really look at it, that's not even a post office link. I'm like, wow, they're just doing everything.
Yes, they are doing everything. They are scamming left and right.
And in a world now where we don't know what's real, just don't click on the links. Don't answer questions on the phone. Just call your institution. If you have any questions, call the institution and they'll let you know. No, that was not us.
Like, that was not us. That
Don't
was not-
start calling your friends and call the institution. Make sure.
But you talking about links, Nishita, made me think about our newsletter. So if you're still watching, sign up for our newsletter.
Yeah, it's a good newsletter.
We're not spamming you.
Even though you tricked us on April 1st.
Hey,
That space program, I was like,
hey, I thought that was pretty good. I thought that was a good one.
it was invested, I'm telling you. I was like, wow, this is kind of long investment here.
I mean, hey.
Then the other one was we got to bring Julie back for this, the tipping. I did want to talk about that today. Do you tip?
Well, I have the clip, but I don't have it up because I thought we were going to wait to talk about it. But,
Okay, we will talk about it next week.
Well, no, we'll go ahead and talk about it now. Then we'll talk about it again next. No,
Yeah.
Actually, we're going to talk about it next week because I want to go back to our main topic, which was
the marriage.
Because, like I said, there was things, but I'm like, oh, do I want to wait and have this as our behind the scenes event?
Mm-hmm.
So for those watching, what do you think? Would y'all like to come behind the scenes with us in our private tea room, Zoom? It is not streamed live. And talk with us about marriage. Why are you looking at a cup like that? What's in there? What's in that cup? You took a sip and you were like,
I didn't know how much was left. Yeah, you could see through the top. I didn't know how much was left in it.
I don't know because I don't have my mug yet.
It's like the other mug, the one that says Male Spouse Conversations and it has the rainbow on it. It's the same type of mug.
Yeah, I know it's the same type of mug.
These are my favorite mugs. They give them out at the casino too. They like keep the ice extra cold in there for like years. It feels like.
Angela said, "Just do it now." But Angela, don't you want to?
Yeah, do it now. Do it.
Come to our event this month because we're going to have a Male Spouse Conversations virtual event on the 25th. Mm-hmm.
Do it. So we could talk about what got started. Because I know you're gonna start something. Then we're gonna have to finish it over there in the tea room. It's the opposite. It's gonna start now, won't be now. You're about to start some. It's gonna be some over there.
Don't start no mess. There won't be no mess. So we'll just start out slow. Okay, let me think how I want to phrase this. So from the time you started dating your husband to the time you said I do, did y'all remain together or did y'all ever break up? This is between y'all dating and saying I do.
No, we never broke up. We never took a break. But he was on the ship a lot. So we did have a lot of breaks from each other, but we were still together. We never had passes or anything or dated other people or stopped seeing each other or separate. No, we never did that.
No.
Did you?
Yes. So we met in college. What?
What?
Like I said, we met in college. And we were young. And it was like, okay, you know what? We broke up for it was probably a semester, that spring and that summer. So we'll say 2 semesters, spring semester, summer semester. And we got back together that fall. So that fall semester when we got back to school, this is kind of funny. He came over to help one of my roommates with something. I don't know what. And we started arguing over CDs. I picked a fight with him about some CDs. Because we were not talking to one another. We were not speaking to one another. But I was like, hey, you still have some of my CDs. Can I have my CDs back? He was like, what? And I'm over there like, and he was really like civil. Okay, you know what? I don't have your CDs, but I'll give you your CDs. And I'm like, and I marched my little happy butt over to his place. And the rest is history.
Yeah, that's
I
cute.
don't think I ever got those CDs. Actually, I don't think he had the CDs. I think I had them.
Yeah, he knew. He was like, I know you just want to come over here. Come on. Come on. I got your CDs. Yeah. Come on over. I know that's what you really want. Yeah.
I got your CD.
CDs. But yeah. No, because my attention span isn't that long. I give it about a month. If I'm away, like say I broke up with somebody, because I've had guys come back and I'm like, who are you? What do you want? We broke up. I'm not interested. And girl, I'll be all dramatic about it too. Like, oh my God, I have been through that. Oh, this is so awful. I can't believe that we broke up. And then just like 2 weeks later, I'm off doing something else. My attention span is not that long. I have some great track shoes that I will put on and run away from people I don't like. I just won't. I'm not coming back. I'm burning bridges and I'm not. The bridge burned down. I don't know what to tell you.
That bridge burned.
That bridge is gone. It's literally not existent. So if we had ever split up, we would not be together today. My attention span like squirrel.
But in your young days, I mean, you know, when you're young.
Worse. It was worse. So much worse. I don't know what it was, but I'd just be like, it was just, this is the worst thing that ever happened to me. I'm dying. I can't believe we broke up. And then I don't care. I'm off to
Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord.
It's so bad.
Oh, Lord.
So
But
no, we
we-
never broke up.
But when we were talking about the vows, I am that till death do us part. There is no divorce.
Really?
Yeah.
My track shoes stay in the closet. I will run. I'm a runner. Do something. I run. I'm like a deer. I'm like.
Well, I trust that my husband's not going to do anything to make me need book.
But I don't ever plan on leaving. You know, I'm all over that Beyonce album. That's I'm living that album. So I'm like, yo, stand by your man. Tammy Wynette, stand by your man. That's me. But I do have some track shoes. I know. I bought some new ones just in case.
Yeah, I am like till death do you part, sickness and in health. Now my husband has wiped my butt. He has had to take care of me.
Oh yeah, we've had to take care of each other, but we've had to do that for each other. So
I've never, I mean, to where we were down, like just down. Now, yeah, like if he's been sick, but like just full on caregiving.
yeah.
He has done for me. But I told him when we moved here, I was like, dude, he had sprayed what was it? Some wrinkle releaser. Sorry, I got a message that just popped up on my phone. on my computer. He had sprayed some wrinkle releaser. I came running through the bedroom door and turned real quick. Girl, slipped. I slipped on these freaking floors, went straight up in the air, came down and hit the back of my head.
Oh.
And he's like, Sybil. I'm like, dude, you didn't have to bring me overseas to get rid of me. Like, you.
It was your fault.
That's what he said. He was like, no one told me to come running through the room.
Right. You did that to yourself.
He's like, what? He's like, you're like a kid. Because I do. I run through the house.
Do you?
I was like,
Those are some slick floors to be running around on.
it was some wrinkle releaser that hit the floor.
The floors are just so, aren't they? They're not carpet. They're like marble, right? I know we had marble floors in Italy, and
Sorry, I'm messaging someone. I had a text, so I'm like, let me see what. What?
but yeah. I don't know. We've had our ups and downs though. We probably have broke up secretly in our minds. I'm sick of you. And I'm sick of you too.
Well, I'm talking about breaking up before you were married.
But, oh no. Like I said, we were together and then we were just always together. We never were like not together after that. Actually, yeah. After that first date at Chili's, we just kept seeing each other. He kept feeding me. I kept eating the food.
Hey, that's the way. Well, I'm gonna say my husband tells me, look, I only ask 2 things of you, and I'm happy. Feed me and love me.
Nah, my husband is a taskmaster. That dude, I told him he must have been a plantation owner in his past life.
Why did you say that, Rita? What?
Cause I'm always like, I'm like, dude, he just always needs something. I mean, I actually am probably prone to that because I would whatever. It's like when Beyonce in her song, she says, is a song called Alligator Tears, you and your alligator tears. All my husband got to do is be like, oh, I want this. And she say, if you say move a mountain, I'll throw on my boots. If you say stop that river from running, I build a dam or 2. That's me. I'll be like, wait, what'd you say? You need that? You need that? I'm always like, oh, you need this? You need that? What? I think maybe you do need that. And I think it just escalates into, can you do this? Can you do that? Hey, you gonna do this? You gonna do that? Come here. It's a lot of things be going on. And probably because I'm a busy person too. Like I'm always doing something. So it's probably just egging him on.
He's like, well,
it's probably my fault. And then I just complain about it. Like, stop it. I'm going to run away from the plantation.
Girl, now my husband is like, hey, just feed me. Give me no love. And I'm happy. I'm like, okay. Gotcha.
But I do. Don't you feel like all people kind of say that, but then underneath it, they also be like, honey, where's my belt? Where's my shoes? Did you pick my clothes up from the cleaners? Where's my shirt? Have you seen my toothbrush? No, not that one. That's the one I use every day. I just bought a new one. Did you see this? Are you going to go, when you're at the store, can you pick this up? I feel like everybody says that.
Okay, so I am that person in our marriage.
Oh, it's you.
I don't.
You're the owner.
He goes to
you're the taskmaster.
So like here, especially, he goes to the cleaners, the mail. He gets the mail when he gets off from work. If I need anything from the exchange, I let him know. He picks that up.
Yeah.
When he comes in from work.
In our second phase of marriage, yeah, he's like that. In the first phase, it was always me, but now he's the one who's like, you need something from the store? He goes to the grocery store, he brings stuff home, and he picked me stuff up. If you need anything, you want some food, stuff like that. So in our second phase of marriage, I would say it's so much different than the first phase. Like, he's very much more, I don't know, he's just a little different. And I think I'm a little different too.
But
Just because as a person.
Even in our first phase of
Huh?
marriage, even when we first got married, he would go to the store. He would cook, like, my husband, he still has this thing with bleach in the bathroom. I remember waking up, like, suffocating. Like, what? Girl, he just sprayed the bleach around the toilet, on the I'm like, okay, I'm glad you wipe behind yourself, but you are suffocating me with bleach. But yeah, no, I am the taskmaster. I will admit, I'm the one who's like, hey, can you do this? But I will say this. My husband, and he still to this day, he says this to me. He's like, Sybil. I'm like, yeah. He's like, we need to take care of this. I need you to get it together. He's like, you've been bumming it for too long. And I'm like, oh, how dare you? How dare you say that to me? But I appreciate it.
About what?
That I need to get a new wardrobe. I need to get my life together.
Oh.
But I appreciate that. I know some women, they're like, I wouldn't want my husband to say. I'm like, no, I want my husband to tell me, not to be mean, but to tell me, like, hey, you know what, babe? You let yourself go a little bit. Or, what's wrong with you? Like, he told me the other day, he's like, that t-shirt has bleach stains. I'm like, okay, and? He's like, you need to throw it away. We need to take you and get you some new clothes. Like, what are you doing?
Excuse me, I don't know why.
Yes, Angela, I know that, girl. I know that. No, thank you, Angela. Thank you. Yeah. I love my sugar pie honey bunch. He's my sugar pie honey bunch. Even when okay, I gotta say this. Even at night when I'm like, because I don't know what he was dreaming about last night, but he was fighting. I was like, and I'm like, hey.
Yeah, it's something about that military stress. I know when I was in the military, I would do that. And then I noticed after I got out that my husband does it. He also talks, sometimes he'll be having whole conversations like, I think it's the stress, of the position and just like living immersed in it so much. It just seeps into the dream world, I feel like.
I'm like,
yeah. I wouldn't be with anybody but my husband. I would say that. Like if we got divorced, I would never get married again. And just him. Just specifically him. I would be with him until, whatever happens. But anybody else, I don't think they'd make it, and I don't think I'd make it. Really, I don't. Because we both like not tolerate, but we both like we can go through things and still be there with each other. Even if it's against each other, even if we're struggling with each other, we can still come to that space where, well, I'm still going to wake up here tomorrow. So,
Right. Yeah, it's like there's no going to bed. I don't want to say not going to bed mad at one another, but because I will still be mad, but we will talk it through. Right? I'm still mad, but we talk it through, or we try to. Because there's times that I'm like, you know what? I'm probably the hard-nosed one of the relationship. I'm like, no. But I'm softening a little bit. I'm softening a little bit.
I'm a crybaby. I will cry. Like he don't care, but I will still cry. Because we've been together so long. It's just like I think that my tears don't have as much weight as they used to because he's like, oh God, what's wrong with you now?
He's like, there you go, crying again. There you go.
And you know, it's usually over something like something might have hurt my feelings or something, and I'll be like, I need to talk to you about something. And oh Lord, you know, men do not like to hear that. Let me ask you a question.
Wait a minute, Nishita, you making me start thinking like, am I me? Because that's exactly how I feel.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, what you want to talk about? What? No. But my husband tells me that sometimes. He's like, you know, sometimes you act like the man in the marriage. I'm like, no, I don't. He's like, sometimes.
Yeah.
Because I have no emotions. He's like, you show no emotions.
Oh, I'm gonna show these emotions. You about to get this work. You make me mad. You make me upset. You about to get this work, buddy. But he's more stoic than me, but you know, we all after you've been together so long, sometimes you just pushing buttons. But you don't even think about it. Because I could be real quick with the lips. He always says she real loose with the lips. Like I say whatever and don't even think about it. But maybe I did a 1-2 punch. I gave him a 2-piece and a biscuit, but I didn't even really think about it. And I went on with my life and he's over there like get quiet for a long time. Like, what's wrong with you? I've said some real loose stuff. Like I'm just like blub, 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 and popped off real quick. Because I could be like that, I could say some crazy stuff now, and then 2 minutes later, like, you hungry? You know, I don't even care.
You hungry? You want me to cook you something?
No, I mean, where are we going to eat at? I ain't even trying to cook nothing. I don't have nothing to make up for. I didn't do anything. But then I'll notice later, I'll be like, something happened. I don't know. Did I do something? And then it's like, no.
No, but see, your husband is so quiet, though. He's so quiet to me. Why you do that? You're like,
because I was just around him all the time.
He just seems so quiet.
He's not passive. I mean, he's not passive.
No, not passive, but
sometimes he's passive aggressive, but so am I. Sometimes we both can be. And sometimes it's so weird. Like it's almost like sometimes we're the same person switching positions. Like sometimes he's the quiet one and I'm yapping, and then sometimes he's yapping and I'm the quiet one, and sometimes he's in his feelings, and it just depends, and it's so weird. And then over the years, we just get closer and closer and closer to being so similar to each other. Like sometimes I'm here.
I don't think you've ever been quiet, Nishita.
No, sometimes I sulk. Like, you know, men sulk. Sometimes I do that. Sometimes I just be like, I don't have nothing to say. If I have nothing to say, I'm either sulking or I have other things on my mind or somebody pissed me off or something. I just don't want to talk. I could get like that. Sometimes I'm not all the time. Every once in a while. That's when it's like, what's wrong with you?
I'm like, I don't see you being quiet.
Yeah, sometimes I can be quiet. And mostly it's because I don't talk a lot during the day. I don't hang around with a lot of people. I'm just by myself most of the day, not talking. So when I do talk to somebody, I probably talk a lot because I haven't talked sometimes for days. I haven't talked to another person. Except for maybe the people at the grocery store. I said, oh, hey, how you doing? How you been? You know, something like that. And they'll tell me something. We'll joke around. But then after that, I go back to not saying anything. The house is quiet. So when I interact with my friends, sometimes I have things to tell them. Oh, let me tell you what happened. Like my spy day in the eclipse the other day. Oh my gosh. Like I have to tell somebody about that. But anyways, I'm like, I'm gonna tell the internet. I'm gonna run to Beyonce's internet and I'm gonna tell it.
You're gonna tell them all about it.
Yeah, but I do feel like over the years we get so much more alike. Like now we're more. When we first got together, I feel like we were kind of like not a lot alike. Didn't have like a lot of things in common. And then the older we get, the more it's like closer and closer we get. He'll call me and be like, I did this today, and it was something I would do. But before he might be like, what are you doing? Or I'll do something and I'm sitting there like, oh my God, I'm acting like my husband, doing things he would do and saying stuff he would say, like, what am I doing?
Mhm.
Then one day we're just gonna kind of be the same person and we're gonna argue with each other probably about it. I don't know.
Now, I do think that the longer you're together, and I'm going to kind of circle back to the whole dating aspect of marriage, because when you have kids and the kids grow up, you have to rekindle that love, because you no longer have the kids in the mix, and it's like, who are you married to now? Who is that man? Who are you? And this is just my opinion. This is just my observation in marriage, that people get married, and one, they don't know who they are as an individual. Two, they put themselves last, especially once they start having kids. So it's like, and then even when the kids come in the picture, they put the kids above, oh, what is that? Above their marriage.
Yeah, I did.
You did.
Yeah, of course. The baby's gonna die. I can't help you. I can't help you right now. You're an adult. Be one. Like we have to take care of this little person who's not gonna make it, okay? And you're gonna end up traumatizing them and damaging them. No.
Well, yes, you take care of the baby, but
as an adult, you should be able to regulate your emotions, understand when you have responsibilities, and do the responsibilities without being coddled. To me, that's just my perception of it. It's like, I feel like both parents should be focused on the child. They're literally the little person that you brought into the world. It's you. It's a little you. And you're trying to help them navigate the world and worrying about each other. We're going to be here. Like, that's what I always thought. I'll be here. You'll be here. The baby might not make it. Let's be honest.
Well, yeah, from the day to day, taking care of the baby.
Yeah.
But I just like, you can't forget about your husband either. You still need to have that communication, talking, sitting down. And when I say dating your spouse, I mean like just having a conversation with one another about what's going on in your life. Not work. I mean, you can talk a little bit about work, but just how are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, because like if I thinking back to when we first got married to now, we both have changed. Me and my husband have both changed for the better. And we have one child that is grown, put that in quotes because I'm like, you ain't paying your own bills yet, so you grown. And one that's going to be leaving the household soon as well. And then it's like, okay, we're going to have one child still in this house. So the dynamics are changing. The way we spend time together has changed from when they were babies to now. And it's like, and one of my, and I won't say a fear of mine, but something that me and my husband have talked about. I was like, I don't want to be that couple that once we are empty nesters, that we go our own separate ways. I don't want to be that couple. Well, actually, I said that when we first started having kids, because I was like, I don't want our marriage to be so focused on our children that we're not focused on ourselves and on one another?
I don't think, excuse me, I don't think that I ever thought that far ahead. I've always kind of lived in this moment. Like this is this moment and this is happening right now. I never really thought until like I got to that part where we were getting older. And then I did kind of think, man, what's going to happen? And it really got triggered by our son getting older and becoming like a tween, because once they hit around that 12, 13-year-old space, it kind of happens after they're 10. But at the tween developmental stage, I feel like that's when they really realize that they are separate from you completely. And they start turning toward their friends to hang out with, as sources of information. Their teachers become really important in their lives. So they're kind of already replacing you as an authority or the center of their world. So they're decentering you while you're still centering them. And if you're not careful to decenter your children, I think that's when it comes, because they are kind of like, for me, my child was the focal point of the relationship because there was just a lot of development that needed to occur. And we had a military lifestyle where we were moving, and I wanted things to be as normal as possible all the time. And my husband was leaving and coming and going. So I did center him, but I also within myself was like, as he started to decenter me and he didn't need me as much, I also decentered him. I looked to work relationships and, going out to eat with people who weren't my family members and, having more chats with family on the phone or rekindling friendships that kind of got lost when I was raising my child. And also with my husband, though, he was still gone a lot, like coming in and going out. And I think later, as we became parents to a teenager, that's what, because they take even more of their time away from you. So then it's like, okay, what am I going to do with the rest of my life? And do I want to do it with this person still? And that was just something I had to ask myself. Do I still want to move forward with this person that I'm with? And if the answer is yes, then what am I going to do to develop that, new relationship? Because it is just a new thing. My husband is a totally different person to me from my perspective. He probably didn't change much, but my perspective, my perception of him changed as my child got older, right? So then we did things like we started playing golf together, and you literally can't play golf with a person every day without getting to know them. You see their golf style, you learn a lot about them, through their golf style, what they're doing on the course. So doing that every day helped us as well. But I do think at some point you do have to stop and say, because I never thought about it till I'm a very stage oriented person. If things get tough, I just say, I'm in a stage right now. I'm going to get through it, so.
I think for me, and I my grandmother, when we had our first daughter, she was like, look, this is your baby. You're going to love your baby. You're going to raise your baby, but don't forget about who you are and don't forget about your husband. And I remember thinking to myself, and when my granny told me that, I was like, I know who the heck I am. How am I going to forget this now? Like, I was taking it literally, right? I'm like, I see him. Like, what do you mean? I live with him. I'm not going to forget about him. Then, probably month 2, the second month, because my mom came out to visit, my mother-in-law came to visit. So yeah, maybe like 2.5 months, 3 months, I was by myself with this baby that cried. Like she cried. She ate, slept, pooped, and cried.
Oh.
I'm like, if you're not eating, you're crying. If you're not pooping, you're crying. You're like, oh my gosh. But I would talk to my granny every day at that point. Yeah, we were talking every day. And she's like, nope. She called me Bootsy. Bootsy? No. You need to do something for yourself. And she would talk about dating. You need a date. You need to date that. You need to date your husband. Date your sweet husband. I'm like, what you talking about? And I was thinking dating, going out. But I'm like, I have this baby. We can't go out. But she's like, no.
She mean more like woo him. You still have to like court him and stuff.
Yeah. And and as the girls got older, it's the same, right? They're getting older. They started pulling away because they had their friends. They wanted to spend time with their friends. And it's like, okay, I don't want my relationship, my marriage to suffer because I'm so wrapped up in my kids. But again, I went back to what my grandmother talked to me about from when the girls were first born. And I'm like, okay, yeah. Because at the end of the day, when these jokers are grown, they're living their life. And who are you with? You sitting on the couch with your husband.
Or not.
Or not. But I want to be on the couch with my husband. I actually want to be on the beach with my husband. My husband wants to be in the mountains. So I'm like, no, we want.
I just go with that man wherever he go. I don't know. I'll be like, okay, you want to go do that? And I'll be like, okay. I just go, I don't know. Just go with that man wherever he go. And sometimes I throw a fit when I get there. I'm like, this is not what you promised. This is not it. But then I'm like, I could find stuff to do.
I am here in Bahrain. I follow him wherever he goes. If he says Sybil, I'm like, go.
Now that
tomorrow.
No, I chose to help my son out over going to Bahrain. So I can't say I have consistently followed him wherever I go, but this is just temporary. It's not, it's just a short bid or whatever. It's just a short thing. So it wasn't like, oh, you're going to be over there for 5 years or something like that. Like I wouldn't do that. It was just, some months or whatever, like 24 months. Like, yeah, that's like a few deployments because it's so normal though, because he's always gone. He's always gone. Even now, it's the end of his career. He's still, I'm like, you wouldn't have been there anyway. And he's the same way. He's like, he told me, he's like, what would you just be over here sitting in the house and like going to marketplace? I was like, yeah.
But you would have had me to hang out with.
Yeah, but you still have, so it's different because you still have kids. I don't have, it's just me. So there is going to be times when you're going to have to be with your family and I don't have to. I'm a free person. I don't have anybody to be like, oh, I need to go pick them up or I need to talk to this person. They're not going to be there. It's just going to be me and the house and the pool and the maid and the cook. And well, I'm the cook, of course. Well, I always cook, but and the maid and whoever comes, the driver, it's just, I'm going to be chilling. So it's going to be a lot of time when I might be like, Sybil, you want to, but you like, oh, I'm with my family right now. I'm not going to come.
Nah, look, I'm like, I'm asleep right now.
Or that too. I'm and so, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. My grandmother told me, she said, she used to tell me all the time, oh, you think you don't have to do what people listen to nobody. That's what she said. And I felt like I always had to listen to somebody. Like people were always telling me what to do. And she said, oh, when you get married, you're going to have to do what your husband tells you to do. And then I said, if that's the case, I'm not getting married because I ain't doing what no man told me to do. That's what I told her. I don't care who they are. I do what my dad told me to do. That's all. It's always like, I don't care. And she's like, one day I woke up and he literally we were having a psychological battle because I'm just like, you ain't telling me what to do, bro. I don't care. You ain't telling me what I can't have that. I don't want it. I don't want it no more. It's like, I can't do this. I don't want to do it. I want to do something else. It's like, you're not telling me what to do. I changed my mind. Like,
You gotta compromise. You gotta compromise.
I do compromise a lot because most of the time I'm letting people do whatever they want. But when I want to do something, I want to do it. For the majority of the time, somebody say, I want to do this. Yeah, sure. I want to go over here. Yeah, okay. But then when I want to do it, if they say, I don't want to, okay. I'll do it tomorrow when you're not around. Like, that's what I'm thinking in my head. Like, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it later. I don't care. You got to go somewhere sometime. But I could get like, I was talking to my aunt today about that. I was like, I don't know why I'm like this. And I had started working for this one company, and they were very much into like mind control tactics and stuff like that. And I was telling my husband, and he was like, well, I need to talk to her because if she's trying to control you, tell her I've been trying to control you for 20 years and I still haven't been able to do it. Like, she's not gonna make it. So, like,
it's not going to work.
No, it's like, I'm gonna do, I don't know. And if it's legitimate and somebody says, you shouldn't do that because these are the consequences, I'll be like, yeah, I don't want to do that. I'm not just out here making bad decisions and stuff, but it's just like, sometimes I have been doing for everyone and I want something for me.
Want to do for you.
Yeah. And if you don't want to give it to me, I will get 3 jobs. I don't care. I'm going to get it. You'll come home and it'll be there because I got it myself. And I think my husband both likes that about me and hates it about me, like, at the same time. You know what I mean?
So we're going to assume, with all that you have said just a few moments ago and earlier, that you are not and I say the traditional. Oh, the balloons, because I did this. Oh, that's how I get the balloons.
Where's my balloons?
I wasn't trying to get balloons.
Okay, no balloons. Why does it do it? Why isn't mine doing it? That's not fair.
Hold on. So
I love it.
You do not follow the traditional, and again, I put this in quotes, traditional marriage path.
I'm a hybrid. So I will cook my husband's food. I will put it on a plate all nice, like it was at a restaurant.
You put his food on the plate?
I bring it to him wherever he's at. If he's at the table, I'll sit on the table. But when I get mad, though, I'll be like, you're grown. You can fix your own effing food. Like, I'll get all like that. But if I get mad. But the very next morning, I'm like, bringing him breakfast. You want your sandwich now? You want some coffee? Like, I can be like that. And yeah, I put everybody's, but I do that to everybody. Like, if you come to my house, I'll fix your plate because, I just feel like, my vision for the food was like this, and I want the plate to look like this or whatever. Because Marcus is like, why are you always fixing people's plates? And I was just like, because. And then one day he came to me and he was like, I like my plate never looks like your plate. And I'm like, yes, because I'm going to lay all the food out. I'm going to put it on the plate and I'll bring it to you. And so I could be like that. I'm very traditional when it comes to that. Like, I let him control the remote. Like, I don't watch. He always watches whatever he wants to watch. He has the remote. I never take it. If he comes in, he'll be like, are you watching? And I'll be like, no, I'm just staring at the TV screen because that's what normal people do is they don't watch what's on it. And he'll just sit down and change the channel. So I let him watch whatever he wants. I let him listen to whatever he wants to in the car. I don't change the channel. So I could be very like that. Girl, nah, I watch cooking shows and the internet. But you can't tell. People are like, how'd you make this? I was in the kitchen, like, let me see, put this here. Like, I'll have the filet. I will cut it, it'll be spread out. I have the starch here and I'll put a little, like, I haven't had any professional training, but we've been together since 2000. So 24 years of just cooking. Yes. And I
don't fix plates.
You don't? Yeah. No. I fix everybody's plate. I fix his plate. I fix Mark's plate. And I don't really fix myself a big plate. I always have a little plate because by the time I'm finished cooking, I'm tired. I don't feel like eating it all. Anyways, yeah, I do that. And what else? I could be traditional. He drives everywhere. I don't drive. Sometimes I drive, but I've given into that. Like, oh, I ride shotgun all the time. But when it comes to like the control part and being like, oh, you're the man, and I'm gonna, you're just another person, and we live together. And if you don't act right, I'm gonna be mad and I'm gonna show out. That's what's gonna happen.
Okay, wait a minute. So you're the man, and what? Finish that statement because
Who?
I want to understand what you were saying.
Who?
You. You're the only person on the screen with me.
Oh no, I didn't say I was the man. I said I
No,
don't.
I didn't say that you said you're the man.
Oh,
You do not conform to, oh, you're the man. So
yeah, you're not above me. You're not gonna sit here and talk to me like I'm your child. Like it's not happening. And I'm not gonna. You know, I don't subscribe to any of that. Like I'm the head of the household. Oh, really? Because I'm about to stop working and start buying Louis Vuitton. Can you do that? I'm about to stop working and go on luxury cruises and spa dates all day. Can you do that? I'll give you the mantle, buddy. But if I have to go to work and I still have to worry about stuff around the house and I still have to cook and clean and wash your laundry and do your dishes and all the stuff, we right here. And ain't nobody up here or there. That's we eye to eye. And I'm not putting you on no pedestal. You're not. I'm on my pedestal. You could be on your pedestal. I'm not. Nope. Oh, you're the head of the house. No, you're not making no real like life-changing decisions without me. Sometimes he does, but I can too. Like I can also do that. Like I want my own power and you can have your own power, but I have never been like that. And that's why my grandmother told me that.
I see it as my husband being the head of the household and that he takes care of the home and he's the protector. Like he is the protector of my family and my home.
Girl, if it's a noise, I jump up. That's being a snorer. When I take care of the car, the maintenance of the car, because he's not here. Like he's always at work. Like work dominates his life. And I just feel like if I'm gonna sit here and take on these responsibilities, and I did a good job of protecting your child, like he was never hurt, nothing ever happened to him. You're not. And I think that's why me and my husband get along, because this might piss him off to hear me say that, but he's not gonna be like, it's a deal breaker. He's gonna be like, oh well, you did a good job. Let's go play golf together or let's go eat. You know, we'll go out to a good restaurant. And we've had power struggles because I think that is difficult to be with a woman who is difficult like me, who's just not wanting to. I won't give it up. I won't ever be like, oh, you're the king of the castle. Because if you're the king and I'm the queen, I'm going to be the queen, buddy. If you're the king, I'm the queen. And I'm getting queen treatment. So either you want to be normal, you want to be a person, or you want to be a king. Because don't let me start acting like a queen. I'm going to start, I'm going to be on the chessboard. Just run out all around the chessboard, dogging everybody out. Because we all know queens have all the power. So don't start with me.
You are silly. You are
Wait,
silly.
okay, hold on. I'll show you. My husband sent me a cup, and the cup it says wife, and then on the other side it has two people, and they both have crowns. So see, he kind of like has over the years been like, this works for us.
Yes, I'm my husband's queen. I am the queen of
the queen of the house. That's what you understand. The queen, and I'm not mean or bossy or anything. I'm not. Oh, I can be bossy. I will take that.
I'm like, you are bossy.
I'm not mean though, and I'm not aggressive or stuck up. I baby my husband a lot. He used to tell people I'm the baby. He used to tell people that all the time. Even when we had a baby, he was like, I'm the baby. And I'm like, he is the baby, but now I'm the baby. Now I'm the one who's like, honey, baby. Yes. Yes. I'm in my soft girl era right now, girl. I was in my hard woman, girl, my hard woman era. So I was about 47.
Oh, Lord.
45, I think.
Okay, so let me ask you this question. Do you believe that marriages, husband and wife, should have separate bank accounts?
Well, we have all kinds of bank accounts. We have separate bank accounts. We have bank accounts together. We have credit cards together. We have credit cards apart. I do believe that people do need to have some sort of autonomy for themselves. So I think it's okay to have separate bank accounts. I mean, as long as you're not hurting each other with it. Maybe he don't want me to see every transaction he makes. And maybe I don't want him to see every transaction I make, you know? And as long as it's not hurting each other and you both have access to enough money to sustain yourselves collectively, I think it's okay. What about you?
Yeah, we have joint checking, saving, money market, all of those things. But then we also have separate.
Yeah.
And from day one, when we actually, so before we were dating, or when we were dating, I did switch my banks once we got married. But I told him I will always have my own account. Because if you ever decide you want to lose your mind, I can bounce.
Yeah.
And that was something we talked about. Like, before we got married, so we're going to back this up a little bit, because this conversation, there's a lot that I want to unpack with this marriage conversation. Before we were engaged, we were talking about marriage. He told me that I gave him an ultimatum. When we got back together, he was like, "Oh, you came back. You were like very possessive."
Oh.
I was like, "No, I wasn't." We actually pulled one another's credit reports.
Oh, wow.
I wanted to know, like, wait a minute, what's the credit score? I want to know. Now, we were college students.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to know. I was like, let me see what I'm about to get into.
I don't think that, I know we didn't. I don't think we ever had one conversation about finances or about, like, we were always pretty open with each other. I think we talked about so much stuff that was going on in our life. So we kind of knew. And to this day, we don't sit down at the kitchen table and have these long conversations about money or finances. But we talk about the important things, like, where we're going to put this lump sum of money, or what we're going to do with this, or, you know, stuff like that. But I didn't even think about that, checking his.
Yeah,
because I come from a background where you know, of kind of poverty. I didn't come from a middle class background. So I guess maybe built inside of myself was the tolerance for not having a perfect credit score, or those weren't things that I valued, because I felt like you could build those things, and we were building a relationship anyways. So, like, if we were going to be together, and he has always been really nice about paying for my bills, or when he has money, paying for me. So, and I do the same thing for him, and we've kind of just always been like that. But sometimes when you come from a certain background, talking about money and things like that it can be difficult, because there's a lot of trauma there, you know. When you grow up in poverty, or you grow up in inner cities where your parents are struggling, and you don't have a lot of resources and stuff, I find that in adults, conversations that center around money or finances can be very triggering. Mm-hmm. Because it can bring up feelings of inadequacy, and just make the other person feel vulnerable in a way that is too powerful you know, to just say, oh, I'm here with this person and we love and trust each other, but there's still that underlying, maybe there could be some kind of self-esteem issues when it comes to money. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And I think both of us having that background, it's just kind of like we try to know how to, you know, give grace for that. You know what I'm saying? Like not always worried about so much. Like I can be I have a lot of money trauma. Like I used to be money insecure. So I could be a very much like, oh, there's no, what is this? What's happening? Da, da, da. And he's just like, calm down. You know, everything's fine. I could get worked up, but then just building that security within myself was important because sometimes we're looking at the other person a lot, but we're not looking at our own self or our own issues that we're dealing with. And I just started going to counseling and stuff and like really bringing these issues out. And I think that helped us a lot. But yeah, when we first got together, girl, we was just in that car riding. We was riding till the wheels was gonna fall off. And we still are to this day. Like you think we'd be over here just, what are we gonna do? Because he's retired and we're all nonchalantly just entering into retirement.
You're like,
yeah. Like we've done everything else.
skipping through the sunflower fields, just
Yeah, we never planned to have a baby. We never talked about any of this stuff. It kind of just, we went through things together and then we stayed together while we were going through the things. And it's like Michelle Obama said that, you know, you can't stand them when them kids are little. Sometimes you're like, oh, because they do, you know, men are different. They get to live their life. They're out there, they're still going to work. They're still like having their own da-da-da. Their identity is still intact. And you're over there tatters sometimes, just like, who am I? I didn't even know I was going to be a mom. You know what I'm
and
saying?
shooting out milk, just out places, and you're
Girl, my son used to use me as a spigot. I thought it was so funny. Like my son was so good when he was little. He did not really cry a lot. But he also didn't laugh a lot until one day he started laughing and he was just the jokester after that. And he would get on that boob of mine, and at night he would just turn on the spigot. And I'd fall asleep because I was so doggone dead tired. It'd be like 2:00 in the morning. And I'm over there sleeping, turn over, it'd be a big cold spot. And you know, and he's just over there giggling. How you know how to giggle? You like 3 months old. You haven't laughed all this time, but now you got jokes. He had jokes.
he's like,
So yeah, you have all kinds of things. I remember I had to sit in the tub with the cabbage on my because I couldn't express that.
could you?
It was so, my cousin was like, girl, get in a warm tub and put the cabbage on them.
Cabbage leaf, yes.
They were like, and I was like, oh, such relief. I was like, thank you. Thank you for her.
Thank you. But let's back up about the finance talk, because in marriage, it's like when people talk about the divorce rate, it's always around money and kids. Those are the two. I don't know what the percentage is because I didn't look that up. We're just talking off the cuff here, but finances. And for me, when we were getting married, or before before he proposed, and as he said, I gave him an ultimatum. I did not. I was like, I want to see, does this guy have credit card debt? I wanted to know.
I had credit card debt. He paid my credit card debt off.
I did too, but I was paying my card. I was paying my bill, but I wanted to know. I was like, I know where I stand, and if I'm marrying this guy, what am I inheriting? I wanted to know that. I wanted to know because I'm like, all right, I had my dreams. I was going to be this big executive living in California, and I got married. He's in the Navy. But I was like, okay, can he is his credit gonna hurt my chances of buying a house? Like, I wanted to know those things. I wanted to know. But the funny thing, we bought our first house. I didn't contribute anything. Like, thinking back to this, because we bought our house. Actually, we built a house right after we got married. Yeah, our very first duty station.
Wow.
We had a house built. And I did not contribute any. Thinking back, I was the one that was pushing for the credit report.
Yeah, that's why I did. I mean, I did contribute a lot to a lot of our lives when we were younger. But it was never something that crossed my mind because the credit reports are so fluid and people can make mistakes in their youth. And does that make them a bad person or somebody who's not, you know, who isn't sufficient for marriage? I'm not sure, you know. So I never
No.
thought I've never owned a house. I never wanted one.
I wanted to know what I was getting into before.
Yeah, that's true. Some people do come in with certain things, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, well, let me see. You can't be out here in too much debt.
Even though
And
I don't care. I don't care. I just don't even think about it. I don't know. I think about it, but I think that sometimes the common man are held to standards that other socioeconomic groups are not held to, and that they're constantly preaching to us about things that they do because that's what helps you be rich. It's not all this conservatism. You know, you can't save your way into being rich. People, you can save your way into $1 million, but that's really not even going to help you make it through a couple of years of your life, really, unless you're living very frugally. You're going to have a very limited life. We live in a credit liability society, like a debit and credit society. So it's hard to just sit there all the time. For me, when I found that out, it was like a betrayal like no other, like because we're constantly being preached to and constantly being told what we can't do. But the people in the upper echelons of society, that's how they live. That's how they are that rich. That's how they are making all that money. And that's not fair. I feel like to hold us to standards that, you know, everyone isn't being held to. So I guess I never really held him to any kind of standards like that. He was a person and he was a good person and I was a good person. And I felt like we could build things and we could get through things together.
yeah, true. But I still wanted to know.
And that's
I was like,
I know people who pull they do background checks on them. So yeah.
no, I didn't go that far. I was like, let's just pull one another's credit reports and set it down. And then it was months later he proposed. Months later. And even now, when it comes to money, and we base everything off of his income.
Yeah.
Our living is based off of it. And that's everywhere we've ever lived. Even when I was working full time, well, this is work. I am working now too. But you know, we based our living expenses off of his income because at the end of the day, if the Navy said, "Hey, you're moving," I may or may not have a job. Although I will say, I had two. Let's see, two. I'm thinking with our moves. Yeah, two of our PCSs, I had jobs lined up before I even arrived. Because I would just yap. I was yapping, and I'm like, oh yeah, we're gonna be moving here. Oh, okay, hold on. Let me make a phone call.
Yeah. My first job that I got when I first got out the military, we moved and I went back to school. Unfortunately, that was a bad decision because I just shouldn't have done that. But 2020 is hindsight is 2020. But I went back to school and I got my degree, and then we moved again. And my first job was at a call center for Comcast. And I cussed somebody out on the phone and I quit that day, one day. I didn't cuss at them like with curse words, but I mean, they were getting on my nerves. So I was just like, I left, I didn't come back. And then the next job I got was at MWR, and MWR is like a government job. So they give you a transfer so you can just transfer. When you go to your next duty station, you have the opportunity to apply and you get kind of like a kind of seniority because you already work for them, but you had to move. And then after that, that's when I stopped. Because at first we used both our incomes a lot. But then after I think we got to Italy, that was when I started being like, well, you just do it. Because he bought me a car for my birthday, like a Grand Cherokee Limited. And this was the first time that we didn't have our names on something together. And I was like, oh, this is nice, And I thought, oh, that was sweet of him to buy me this for my birthday.
But no, look, girl, look. Your name is still going. Look, the house.
No, but it was a gift. It was like I wasn't involved in it.
Oh, because you were like, your name wasn't on anything. I'm like, look, my name was never on any of the mortgages, but it is on.
Now, if we had a mortgage, my name would have been on that mortgage because we usually do things together. But now,
we do it together, but
I mean, financially,
I am on the I'm not on the loan. I am only on the
deed,
title.
the title,
Like the deed. Yeah, but I'm not on the loan. I'm like,
oh, I don't know how houses work. That's not something I've ever wanted. And I thought I wanted a house when we retired, and I don't want that either. I still don't want it. I was just like, it's such a liability. I can't, it makes me uncomfortable to think about having all that, like having to fix the house and take care of the house and replace furnaces and roofing and building it. And I just, right now, I thought, oh, I'm going to get over this. But even to this day, we got right up to it. And, we're sitting up there and he's talking about, oh, yeah, where are we going to stay and this and that. And I just got cold feet. I was like, no, because I'm thinking, hey, we don't really know where we want to live. We could just live in a luxury apartment here in this state and see if we like it. And then we can move to another state and see if we like it. And then we can move somewhere else. And we never have to be like, are we going to sell this house? Are we going to rent this house out? Oh, people calling us, your stuff broke. I don't want that. Look, I'm about to give you that house because you better stop calling me. The management's calling you and all this stuff. I don't know. It's just in my mind, I don't want to deal with it. And then I'm thinking, dang, they have nice golfing senior communities we could just move into. I'm already like not
thinking about your retirement home. You're gonna go live in a
y'all could build a $5 million, $10 million house. Oh, I want that house, but just a regular.
You're gonna go live in the senior community. You're already planning it. You're like,
well, usually I don't. Usually I'm just like very moment to moment. But this time, because I had to go visit my dad, I had to go help him out. And he was in this cutest seniors community. And they have all this stuff there that they do together. And I just feel like me and my husband, we need our own friends and we need a friend group. Like we need to come together and talk about things.
Well, that's a good question. That's a good question for this marriage talk. Do y'all have couple friends?
No, we all of us kind of live our own separate life. Even our son, he has his friends and I don't interact with his friends' parents. And my husband has his friends and I barely interact with his friends' wives. And I have friends and he barely interacts with them or their family. We're like the George Costanzas of families. Like the worlds are colliding, Jerry.
See, we had in the past, we usually have one or two couple friends each duty station, and we go out as a couple.
Now, my friend Camille, now her and my husband were friends.
Oh.
My husband's calling me.
Oh.
Her and my
All
husband
right.
were already friends. They were work friends.
Have fun at physical therapy. I'm like, have fun.
See you later.
Have fun.
Thanks
Physical
for
therapy.
stopping by. I know I'm about to have to go too.
Me too. I need to go to bed. It's 9 o'clock.
Too. But
no, we're going to continue this
Yeah.
because there are more things. Like I really want to dig into this marriage talk. This is literally just the surface, because I want to talk about how we really navigate arguments.
You're what?
Like we're going to come back to this talk another week, because I want to really dig deep into how we navigate disagreements and arguments in marriage.
I get mad and then I throw
like have a serious talk about it.
Yeah.
Because we are hitting 22 years of marriage. You don't see that a lot. Like I think about,
You don't think so?
Others our age, because I see people getting married now, and then year 5 they're getting a divorce.
Oh, year 5. Because year 0 through 10 is it's rocky, but that 10 to 20 is difficult. Some people can reach 10 and then they get divorced after that, because it is really difficult, especially if you have kids.
And so I want to really dig into that and talk about that, and talk about what those pain points are, because they're there. So let's really talk about it. So we're going to do that. Not next week. Next week's show is going to be Stroke Anniversary. It's going to be a party.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, seriously. Next week, we're going to talk about stroke, because it's my 3-year stroke anniversary. All right. I'm hot.
You hot?
I'm hot. You go do whatever you're going to do. I am going to go to bed.
Well, have a wonderful night's rest. And I'll see you next time. I'll see everybody.
I need to do my beauty sleep, so my hubby will still be like, ooh, look at my sexy wife. Like, hey, baby.
My husband better say that regardless. I'm just kidding.
Hey.
But I always say, like we're real sweet with each other now. Because something about, I don't know if you felt like it, but something about hitting that 20 years and now coming up on 25 years together, I just feel like it's just a lot different. And it'll probably change over the years too, because sometimes, it's a little rocky in that little part between, what is it, like 30 and 40? I see people getting divorced there.
At that point, you just have to come home and look at me every day. Actually, don't even look at me. You just come home, go in your room, say hello, keep it moving.
No, I want to be sweet. I want to be like, hey, baby, what you doing?
Well, no, I want to be sweet too, but you're not divorcing me.
I don't know. I see people getting divorced. That 30 to 40 year mark, people get divorced up in there. You see people like, yeah, we had a good run.
Because their kids are, this is just my philosophy. The kids are now gone.
Oh, you think the kids spanned across those like 30 years and now they're gone? Because some people have a lot of kids and they have them later.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Then they become empty nesters late. And then it's like, who are you? Get out of my house. Get on my face.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
so we'll talk about all that later.
Yes. All right. Have a good night. Thanks everyone for watching.
See you next time.
Good night.
I know you feel it within, so go ahead and just spin for me, won't you? I know it's hard for you to give it a try, but you are not alone. I'm here with you. I think you owe it to this beautiful night to lose all your control. Do it for you. Let me shy, but I can put an end to your fears. Let me show you a place where you gon' wanna move your feet until they start to bleed. DJ, take it away.